died extremely violently. We've never found the killer.
There was a huge crowd there, a lot of potential witnesses.
One of the great artistic talents in his generation was cut short.
I got so much to share.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy, Danny Deallen. Here on today's link, we're going to talk about the one, the only, true, and I still feel the best, hip-hop artist of all time. This man right here. Yes, this guy.
What's the worst
Tupac.
they could do to a player? Got me lost in hell to live and die in LA on bail. My people say.
We're going to talk about the whole conspiracy. There's been several things that went around about he definitely died, he didn't die, he's been spotted, Suge Knight had him killed, Biggie had him killed, Puffy had him killed, all kinds of crazy shit that like went down around this man. But that's what we're going to find out. I've done multiple hours of research and days of research and like came across so much information, especially now, years later. So enough talking. Let's get right into the footage, y'all. Check it out.
Along with Keefe D, the driver is a guy named Terrence Brown. They call him Bubble Up. Behind the driver is DeAndre Smith. He's in the left rear passenger seat. And Keefe D's nephew, Orlando Anderson, he's sitting behind the right front passenger seat. All Southside Crips.
All the chicks was like, Tupac, Tupac. And he was like, hey, like a celebrity, like he was in the parade. If he wouldn't even been out the window, we would have never seen him.
What? Fucking bitches. What is the odds of that? You know what I'm saying?
My partner busted you. When we pulled up, I was in the front seat. Happened to see my friend, Suge.
No doubt in my mind whatsoever that Suge Knight knew immediately who was behind the murder of Tupac Shakur.
High-ranking member of the Bloods, Orlando's rival gang.
Suge looks over, he sees you.
Yeah.
He looks right at you.
Yeah, he looked at me.
You said the shots came from the back. Big Dre, Orlando. Who shot Tupac?
To keep it for the cold of the streets. It just came from the back seat, bro.
See, I don't get that. Like, that shit wouldn't have flied where I'm from. Here in Ohio? Nah. Everybody in the whole motherfucking car would have been in prison. Especially if they're like, oh, I ain't saying the street code. Whatever. They'd still lock all of you up. That happened to me. They're like, who stole the car? I don't know.
I was working on Las Vegas Strip. I was a sergeant. Guy came sliding in on my bike. Suge Knight runs out and he's running around yelling. He's yelling at me. He's got blood just flying out of the side of his head. And I couldn't get the car door open and he's yelling at me and I had to point my gun at him and say, you know, get back, Tupac. He basically slumped out of the car when I opened the door. We have something in police work called a dying declaration. So I asked him, what happened? Who shot you? Who did this? And he was just kind of ignoring me and he was trying to yell back and forth to Suge. He got a breath together and I said, who did this? He looked at me and he went, you. And that was it.
That's what I'm talking about. Fuck you. I ain't saying shit. I'm gonna deal with them on my own time. I don't care who you are. You don't ever say shit, period.
Somebody do something in the ghetto, if you tell on them, that's called a snitch, a rat. In the suburbs, if somebody do something and they tell them, they call an eyewitness.
Don't be this guy.
Let's talk about fucking Suge Knight. Like, a lot of people say that he had something to do with it. This is why I don't think Suge had anything to do with it. Like, Tupac and Suge, they were like this. Like, they were motherfucking bros. Like, he did some shit that a lot of people didn't even fucking know. But don't worry, I did the research for y'all. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about.
Everybody know off the top, I ain't the nigga killed Tupac, I'm the nigga protected Tupac.
Yeah. Did Tupac ever complain to you about his financial situation with Death Row? Because his bodyguard, Frank Alexander, said that Tupac was going to leave Death Row because he wasn't getting the money he was supposed to get.
People have to realize Pac was on Death Row for 9 months. You don't usually see your first recoupment check from the industry or your royalties until 1 year later. So by time, from your album sales, I mean, so when Pac died, that's when the money started coming in. That's when all the lawsuits started hitting. You know what I mean? That's when his mother was like, no, this is my son, I have to have rights. And that's when she started suing. She put up $1.3 million cash. He bought a house for Pac moms in Atlanta cash. He was paying rent or whatever in homes. Like Pac, he had 2 apartments for us that he was paying rent for. What you call it, a penthouse suite on Wilshire Boulevard that he was paying rent for. You know what I mean? He had a big house in Calabasas that he was paying rent for. He was giving them monthly money. I remember, I don't know the amount, just to go shopping and buy clothes, phone bills, studio every day. So you got to look at it. I doubt a record company can reimburse and make their money back in 9 months. Pac was living that life, Rolls Royces and Mercedes Benz. He was living that life before he even sold a record on Death Row. You know what I mean? Usually people start driving in these cars after they sell their records. I'm not saying that he wasn't owning them. That's probably what he should have happened. But you got to look at it, man. Suge was he spent a lot of money. You know what I mean? Before he even recouped. You got to understand when Pac and them was riding around with Rolls Royces, no rapper was living like that at that time. Puffy and Cash Money and them, they started doing that 5, 6, 7, 8 years later after Pac died.
That's only some of it. Like, he was going to give Tupac his own record label. It was going to be Death Row East Coast, I do believe. And like Tupac was going to run that shit. So he's going to have Suge over on the West, and you're going to have Pac over on the East. And like, you know, obviously Suge ain't a dumb man. He's going to still get, you know, parts of his money back that he invested, because he invested a lot in Pac, showboating in him and, you know what I mean, giving him everything he needed. But still, he would have made more off of what Pac was about to do. Because, like I said, Pac was about to do the East Coast ordeal. And, you know, Suge was going to get a % of that, too. So why in the hell would this man fuck up his pockets? You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people said that, or think that you had something to do with Tupac's murder.
Outsiders' opinion doesn't matter, because their opinion, and it's going my way. Somebody in the media, somebody else say trying to cover up their own tracks. What man gonna turn around and say, hey, shoot him and shoot me in the head too when I cover him up? I'm the only person that lost when Pac moved on. Not only did I lose the idea of a friend you can have or a little brother you can have, Pac was one of those incredible artists that I know for a fact he's worth way more alive than dead.
Okay, let's get on to the whole Biggie ordeal. Like, I ain't even gonna add that in here because, like, Biggie he wasn't about that life. He wasn't a fucking, like, thug and, like, wilding out and motherfucking shooting and all that. Biggie was smart, you know what I mean? He was just about his fucking music. He wasn't into all that fucking stupid ass gang shit or whatever like that. But someone up above him he was a shot caller. You know what I'm saying?
Where and why do you think people say Pac wanted to leave Death Row and that's why he was killed? Where do you think those rumors came from?
Probably because of the motherfuckers who feared Pac the most. Probably his competition. When Jimmy Iovine heard, I thought that Pac was dead, right? First thing he said was, you can't beat a dead man's sales. He said, you lucky as fuck, you didn't hit the jackpot. Jimmy turned back around and did a deal and signed Puffy as an artist on Interscope. In this business, it's not really loyalty to a lot of these dudes.
Yeah.
Everybody want to fake like they care about you till they make it. Once they make it, they on a whole agenda. They trying to figure out how to cut you out because they're greedy. So if everybody love Pac so fucking much, and everybody's so bad about the loss, what are they doing about it?
That's what I liked about this dude. He was real as fuck. Granted, he was fucking ruthless as fuck, but he still was a real ass motherfucker. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they started trying to like squeeze this dude out, like, you know what I mean, cut him off, not where he can make money and shit. And you've seen how that ended up. Fucking ended up in prison. That motherfucker don't get no visitation, no nothing, you know, maybe karma or whatever, but still. Like, he got squeezed the fuck up out the game, either sat up or whatever the case may be. I don't know, don't care about that part. We're here about this man. I just figured I'd throw that 2 cents in.
Bitch ass Puffy can give him a mother star, and every rat in the world said he didn't want to kill Tupac.
Yep.
Or had him shot.
They claims that Diddy was behind it all.
Oh, Diddy.
Yeah, right. They say he was a bad boy.
What y'all want to
do? They said he hired Crips gang member Keefe D to kill Tupac and Suge Knight for $1 million. Now, on that fateful night, September 7th, 1996, after the Tyson-Seldon fight, according to this documentary, Suge then hired Bloods gang member Poochie to kill Biggie Smalls for $13,000.
Oh, so Diddy hired a way better hitman than Suge Knight. Because his was like $1 million and Suge's was like $13,000.
They both got the job done.
Well, Diddy's guy was supposed to kill Suge and Tupac. They only got one of them. Probably the shooter was Fetty Wap.
There was a lot of names thrown around during this whole ordeal, but Puffy's name kept coming up like every time you turn around. Only a few people had the balls to even say Puffy. Most people, once they heard Puffy had something to do with it, like, everybody didn't want to touch it. They didn't want to say shit. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, Puffy was a shot caller over on the motherfucking East Coast like Suge was over on the West Coast. So most people avoided that shit.
Tells him he's got skills, but Kel's the day you put on a hits, the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out, they got Pac killed.
Oh, no. Nope. I'm out of here, man. Oh, my God.
The day you put on a hits, the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out, they got Pac killed. I'm sick.
Did he just say the day that you get a hit,
that I get it,
is the day Diddy will admit that he
got
put out the
hit to get?
Okay, let's go to the next ordeal. Tupac faking his death. Everybody knows that his last CD was coming out was Machiavelli. If you know anything about Machiavelli, make sure you look it up. It's basically how to fake your own death and stuff like that, which Tupac was like really, really big into. He was into Illuminati and all kinds of crazy shit. It's on the internet, check it out. Like I said, this dude was highly intelligent, you know what I mean?
Okay, you see in this picture on his arm, his tattoo has collar. It's more towards the center. He has Machiavelli on his neck. Here, you see it don't have collar on his arm, and it's towards the front, and he has no Machiavelli on his neck. So this was bogus, 100%.
I jumped straight up out of the bed, started putting on my clothes. I was going to Las Vegas right then. They called me back, told me that, you know, he was going to be all right, but Tupac had a problem.
My whole thing was, Pac said he was shot. I'm like, you shot? I'm finna get you to the hospital. I'm driving, telling him I'm finna get you to the hospital, kick back. Pac looked at me and said, you know what? You need the doctor more than me. You the one shot in your head. And we laughed the whole time going to find out went to the hospital. That's the conversation we had. It wasn't, Pac was a man the whole time. It wasn't that he was like, oh, I'm shot. He cracking jokes. He like, yeah, they shot me. He said, but you shot in your head. Look at your head bleeding. Look how much it's bleeding. That was Pac. And I'm like, man, shut up, I'm gonna get you to the doctor.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
Happened. We didn't know if we heard gunshots, or we didn't really know exactly what we heard. We heard a lot of screaming, a lot of cars screeching. We were just hanging out, taking photos at the time. We ran up the street as cops were running past us, and by the time we got here, they were already taking, which now I found out was Tupac, into the helicopter away. He had been shot.
Okay, I don't know if y'all caught that or not, but Suge said he went in an ambulance, and the old girl said he was in a helicopter. So, which way did he go? Like, who's covering up for who? You know what I mean? Like, apparently there was 2 different PACs, is what I'm getting from it. You know what I mean? Okay, besides people, like, covering up for Tupac, is what it kind of looks like, or coming up with different stories to throw people off the trail. Like, there started being sightings, like, all over. Like, he was a fucking Bigfoot, you know what I mean? Like, he was appearing everywhere, like, throughout the world, and, like, music videos, like, he just, all kinds of shit after he fucking died. Like, he had a song about coming back, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus and shit. So, it's kind of weird, makes you think, you know what I mean?
Expect me, nigga, like you expect Jesus to come back. Expect me, nigga. I'm coming.
And God said he should send his one begotten son to lead the wild into the ways of the man.
De kinderen komen met hun onzin, wat ga je doen? Oh, kom op kind, houd echt. Blijf van de straat af. Want je weet, een hond kan niet leven als een leeuw. Laat de rest maar.
It's in the brown bottle. Even though we both came from the same places, the money and the fame made us all change places. How could it be through the misery? A lot lately, I know something wrong. Not trying to fuck with the streets, but it's always an option. Tony A on the other end, he say, nigga, I got you. The streets is on fire, man, they never cool.
That was only some of the footage that I've came across. There's way more, like, sightings and all kinds of shit. This dude came out with a song afterwards that sounded just like Tupac and everything. Like, I couldn't put all the information in here or this video would be so long. There's more evidence that he's alive than dead is what I'm getting at. But here's a small part of that song that was by another guy.
Let me tell you what happened though. Thug life.
He sounds just like Tupac. And this is years after he died.
It's been 16 years, still stuck in a dark cage. Living in my mind, thinking about the fateful day. 9796, I remember like it's yesterday. I got a lot to say, it'll make a thug nigga cry. How the media said that I died, but I'm still breathing.
But a local filmmaker says Tupac shouldn't be connected to Vegas because he died here, but because this is where he made his great escape.
Boss says when the rapper arrived to Las Vegas for fight night, he was informed of a planned hit on him. Now that's when the escape plan came into fruition, from planting a double in Suge Knight's BMW to a strategic aerial exit.
When certain FBI agencies are looking for you, the first thing they're gonna do is block the airport so you can't travel out. So the best way to escape is through helicopter, private helicopter, to another state.
Boss says the information for the script came from people in Tupac's family and circle.
I mean, you can write a fiction, story, but this is not fiction. This is facts through certain people that I know.
Boss knows G-Money and Snoop Dogg, who collaborated with Tupac, and Boss's father knew Tupac's mom from their involvement in the Black Panther Party.
What happened with the body double? Was the body double in the car when the shooting happened? Was it a fake shooting? Was it a real shooting? Did the body double get killed? Would that explain why the autopsy report has his weight and height different than what's on his actually driver's license from 1995-1996? And there's another video I did a couple months ago where it shows Tupac and MGM Grand passing another individual almost in the same type of clothing, same shirt and pants as Tupac when he's going through the crowd. Could that have been his body double? I don't know.
But a lot was said. But what was said more than anything, like, he went to Mexico and then he took off to Cuba. So, in saying that, my boy went to Cuba looking for him. Check it out.
Es un rapero americano, pero queremos saber si anda por acá, porque dice que se ha muerto. Pero muchos dicen que se fue a vivir en Cuba. No. Pero muchos dicen que se fue para Cuba, para vivir. ¿Lo has visto por la calle, algo así por acá?
No, un rapero. Yo lo conozco, no conoces a nadie. Yo sí lo he visto él.
¿Por acá, por la calle o en la televisión, algo así? ¿O en la calle, en Cuba?
Un hombre como este.
¿No has visto un hombre así? Sí, este mismo hombre.
Sí, lo he visto aquí.
¿Y por dónde? ¿Por acá, por otro lado, por otra parte del país? Es un rapero americano y se dice que todavía vive acá en Cuba. ¿Lo has visto? No. ¿Qué fue? ¿Sí has visto?
A lo mejor no lo vi.
¿Y por dónde? Por acá, por la Habana Vieja.
Sí, sí.
¿Por esta calle? Ay.
¿Tupac?
Sí, sí. ¿Lo has visto?
Esta cuadra, recto, 1 y 2.
Ajá.
Está ahí.
Ah, bueno, ¿tú lo has visto?
Sí.
Sí, gracias, vamos. Vamos para allá entonces. Rapero americano.
Sí, la tía de Tupac está buscando.
No, estamos buscando a él mismo porque se dice que se fue para Cuba.
No, tío, no, tío, no, eso es mentira.
No,
aquí la que está en Cuba es la tía de Tupac.
La tía de él.
De él, pero eso es Tupac Shakur.
Bueno, sí, lo estamos buscando porque hay dos personas que dicen que, sí, lo he visto por acá, así que estamos preguntándole a la gente si lo ha visto todavía.
Okay, here's another fun fact. Why a lot of people saying that he's in Cuba and why I'm kind of thinking he is too. First of all, his aunt lives there. His mom was in the Black Panther and she has ties down there and everything like that because Cuba's protected. You can't be imported from Cuba, you know what I mean? On top of that, his girlfriend and his girlfriend's dad has people down there. Just saying.
If you think about it, right?
Right.
Why you think nobody been arrested if they said they didn't want to kill Tupac?
Because they're snitching to the police, so they ain't gonna get arrested.
Not just to snitch and be smart, son. Because Tupac not
ain't
dead.
as smart as you should be.
Tupac not dead. If he was dead, they'd be arresting those dudes for murder. You know he's somewhere smoking a Cuban cigar.
How I look at it, like, Tupac might have pulled it off. I don't know. You tell me in the comments below. Because kind of looks like he did that, like the movie Unusual Suspects. And he was gone.
Some guy in California, his name is Redfoot.
A gift from Mr. Soze.
Talk to me, Verbal.
What about Redfoot? Mr. Redfoot knew nothing. Using pawns.
Big, fat guy. I mean, like orca fat.
I was a lawyer.
Myths, legends of
Kobayashi. I'll never see him again. Back when I was picking beans in Guatemala, we used to make fresh coffee. After that, my guess is you'll never hear from him again.
Almost there. Come on, get that line up. Get that line up. Benito, here. All right, Mark. Stop CPR, everybody.
Man, I've been struggling trying to get in here a long time. You're gonna have to earn your way. Sure hope you can make it.
I'm gonna try. Thanks a lot.
But thanks for watching. Stay tuned every Friday. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, follow, all that good shit. All right, your boy's out. Peace.
Change. Everybody changes. That's all a part of growing up. As long as when you change for the better, I really don't think nobody could be mad at you. At least, I ain't mad at you. You know what's up? Hey, yeah.